did not hear the faction vetoes from them.
Okay.
Morix has them now.
I mean, generally on a map like this, they are a bit less important because it's a very standard-ish map where factions don't have a clear advantage. Like pretty, I wouldn't say generic 10-kilometer map, just 10-kilometer with not real water to abuse, so it doesn't automatically make Aeon or Serra a preferred choice.
It's pretty nice though. Like this is pretty open, raidable midsection of the map.
Yes.
Makes the speed.
So at the top right, we have Nexus playing as the purple Seraphim. And in the bottom left, we have Tagada as the burgundy colors UEF. So let's see if their stars differentiates at all. Tagada will opt to go for his quick second land factory. Nexus will actually do the exact same thing. After all, Tagada and Nexus, they are in the same clan, so there's a decent chance that they prepped together.
I mean, that's the fashionable thing to do on for them these days is to get this second land factory and then just walk to middle as quickly as you can.
Okay, yeah, I don't know about the Friden meta, but I guess if it's normal, then it makes a bit of sense. I do remember someone saying that it's Tagada tends to walk to the 2max location and build his factories there, which he already did indeed queue up 3 factories at the 2max location.
Well, the odd thing is Tagada is sort of cutting a pigeon here. Normally you get 4, as Nexus is doing. But it's really similar.
Okay, so he's cutting an extra pigeon. Let's see if that will make any difference for his power management. He is reclaiming trees with a single engineer, which Nexus is not, so that's part of the difference.
Nexus will get his Hydro later, so
Yeah.
the extra pigeon will bide him over until that's done.
Nexus will send an engineer to reclaim rocks to get more mass, while Tagada opts to get some of the trees to get more of an E boost at the start. It's very, very small differences, but we will see if it will make any difference. So Tagada will get his air factory up a bit quicker. Nexus is currently almost stalling E, but the moment he starts stalling E, he finishes the air factory. So the build orders are quite solid from both of them. A quick tank and some Salons out from Nexus, probably to defend versus some possible raids. But in a matchup like this, we can see some raids, but both Tagada and Nexus aren't exactly well known for being very aggressive. At least not early game. They kind of want to. Nexus is mostly kind of defensive, especially at the early game. He likes to just kind of play the long game and just out macros his opponent. That's generally Nexus' style. Tagada is also isn't as aggressive in the early game. In the mid game, he can be a lot more aggressive though. He tends to do some nasty timings of either air or land aggression, and tries to kill his opponent more often in the mid game, or at least he punishes his weakness a bit more, let's say. So early game, we probably won't see a lot of aggression in this series, I think, unless it's maybe some specific aggressive map or it's a 5-kilometer map. But we will see.
We will definitely see. Like, these guys are paying a lot of respect. They're protecting their expanding NGs. They're taking it nice and slow, getting inties out.
Yes, it's very even at the moment. It's also maybe because it's the first game that they don't intend to go off right off the bat, going full aggressive mode. There's possible we might see a few aggressive games, depending on how the scores will go. For example, if one of them is 2 games down, and on the third map, maybe chooses to turn it around a bit and surprise the other with some aggressive cheats. But we will see. There's a bit of tank micro back and forth on the bottom right of the map. There's a bit of proking Nexus is trying to do, but the second tank from Tagada meets up, and The Salad will actually... No, it won't be able to finish off the tank.
It tried,
Tried with
but
some
it
nice...
was not to be.
Some nice micro from Tagada preventing it.
Look at this tank from Tagada at the north. It's actually just going to kill the two most important expanding NGs, save the one other one.
Yeah, Nexus' protecting tank actually got sent to harass the engineer from Tagada on the left, and he actually will probably kill that as well, but in return he kind of abandoned his own engineers. There's a protecting tank from Nexus, but if Tagada micros, he should be able to kill the other engineer as well. Meanwhile,
he knows it's here.
On the left side, there's an air scout, and the engineer, it will live on 45 HP. Engineer from Tagada on the left side, it kind of got away. They were both focused on the other fight, so
no, bomber right side
to go after it. The bomber will snipe the engineer from Nexus, but not after, not before the Nexus were built. So it's not as big of a damage as it could have done. Like there won't be a factory online, but the 6 mass per second will be fully utilized. There's an air fight, but Nexus actually it's kind of even on air, but it's on Nexus' side of the map, so he has some quick reinforcements. But it seems like Tagada has a bit more overall. He also has an anti-reinforcing. Oh, but that's quite a bad turn from Tagada. He kind of delayed it for a bit too long, and Nexus kind of got behind him, and that should secure an air factory for now.
Really unfortunate there for Tagada. The bomber will go north and see if it can accomplish anything up there, but I don't know how successful this push in the south will be.
It will probably snipe one of the engineers again, because Nexus kind of forgot about the bomber. He's still chasing the scout. I mean, he had to focus on the air fight. He couldn't afford to go after the bomber, but now that he won it, he should remember to target it. There's transport out from Tagada. It's gonna drop the 2 Maxes in mid. It's going right by the Intis that are... they weren't even locked on the transport. Purely coincidentally, they find the transport, which is quite unlucky. And now
yeah, that was very convenient.
But
although the drop did get off, he secures the plateau.
Yeah,
but at what cost?
Also in return, Tagada gets a semi-efficient air fight. Not the most, but it's kind of a brawl. But Nexus gets some reinforcements, and it's very even.
Meanwhile, the bomber up north is just going to town. And so is Nexus. They just both have bombers killing all of the NGs.
Yeah, true. They did both. Now, Tagada got his 3 Maxes as well, but then Engineer Building Factory got also killed. So they're kind of trading blows. Tagada did build the 3 factories in mid. Nexus went to the same location, but he did not build his factories there. He opted to build them at home instead. He is about to have 8 land factories at home, and he will build 3 more. Well, Tagada only has 5, but he has his factories in mid. So building your factories in mid, the reinforce time is closer, but of course they are more vulnerable. If you at some point lose the position, then you miss quite a bit of your production.
And there's always the risk that the enemy ACU will go there and secure it and just reclaim all your factories, and then you have no production anymore.
That as well. Especially right now that Tagada is moving to the east. If Nexus were to move south directly to the factories, then there's not enough units there to chase down the ACU, and it will just kill the factories. I mean, this will take a long time, and Tagada probably has to retreat with his ACU, but right now Nexus needs the intel on Tagada's ACU that it's going for the right.
Yeah, it is faster.
He is faster, yes. Also,
despite the fact that he all those factories.
And most of the tanks are actually on the right side of the map. The left side is Nexus doesn't really have there. Most of his army is up north because of the longer reinforcement times. So you see here a bit of the advantage of Tagada making his factories in mid. Although he's kind of suiciding a few units before his ACU arrives. I'm not sure if Nexus already knows that the ACU is coming. It would be quite bad if he realizes too late and loses most of his army there. He will lose the 3 Maxes, that's for sure.
Well, he's going to reclaim his factory, so he's ready to abandon this position.
Okay, yeah. Makes sense. He just needs to escape with his units down south and try to raid Tagada from that side. His own ACU is a bit later, but only 2 of those Maxes were built for Tagada in the first place, so max counts should be a bit even. Tagada was a bit quicker though with dropping the bottom right Nexus and the plateau for the reclaim as well.
Slight inti lead for Nexus, which should help next time they air fight. There are a lot of transports and bombers flying around.
Yeah, there's 2 air factories for Nexus, only one from Tagada, but Tagada has more assistance.
Tagada's also building this Hydro on the cliff to give him additional power. And threatening to just sort of run into the base and pressure the 2 mexes.
Yeah, it feels like Tagada has more units, or at least the position of the units is better. He has 4k mass in tanks, while Nexus... Okay, a very slight advantage for Tagada. But yeah, Nexus is taking a few bad trades here with his Thames being a bit sloppy, rallying a few into Tagada's army. It's also pretty importantly the 2 mexes north or east of his ACU. He never took those. He never secured those until just now he's getting them. But it's about to be threatened by a big land army from Tagada. And map control wise, Tagada seems to be quite ahead.
Nexus is risking himself getting cut off from his reinforcements. Now, there is the nice pond to retreat to in the event of an emergency, but you really don't want to abandon the 3 mechs and have to do that because there's just no support.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try
there's a drop, although it gets shut down. But now the air fight starts. The first turn, Nexus Indies were a bit awkwardly positioned because they kind of turned around to shoot down the drop, but Nexus had a bit more anyway, and the micro seemed a bit better as well. So Nexus will actually win the air fight. And now there's reinforcements from Tagada that are coming in, but only after the air fight was lost, so they will die as well, almost for free. So that's actually a good air fight, and I think it's what Nexus kind of needed, considering he was losing on the ground slowly.
Yeah, it's not the best position, especially Nexus is going to try to push the factories here, but he has to retreat. He can't do this.
Yeah, there's too much production there, and even if you fight efficiently, the reclaim will be scooped up by Tagada, so it's not gonna happen. There's a pretty big fight at top. I feel like there's a bit of an overcommitment from Tagada, because Nexus will get all the mass.
There's no way he secures the reclaim, or anything. Like, this is just a mass donation from Tagada. And there's even a drop coming over to reinforce all this.
Yeah, I saw. I'm not sure where that's going. If it's going on the 2 max location on the plateau. The drop is actually gonna drop in the middle of an army, and it's just gonna get instantly wiped out because the army is twice as big as the drop was.
So the transport dies for its trouble. But Tagada's gonna walk his ACU back to mid, try to secure this scrappy mass field that's forming as these units are just trying to crash into Tagada's factories. He
does have a factory and a PD on the right side, so it's enough units, so he should be able to defend it for quite some time. Nexus on the other hand, on the left side, only built the 3 mexes, but no factory or PD, so it's very vulnerable to die as soon as the SU leaves. And Nexus is missing 6 mass points that actually 7 that Tagada does have, and as a result he's down by a lot of income.
Like 45 to 25 is just a huge difference. And yeah, Nexus has air control for his trouble, but for how long?
It's also important to note that Tagada does have 2 Tech 2 maxes, while Nexus does 0. So 45 to 26 mass income now, all of a sudden it's become a very big lead, and Nexus is in quite a bit of trouble here.
So he's going to bring his ACU back to try to cut off this retreating army. And it looks like it'll work. This army has nowhere to go. I guess it could go south, but does it know in time? Alright, yeah. Tagada does react appropriately. He has the nice radar on the plateau. He will pull that army south.
Yes. Is there Tech 2 air plans for Nexus? No, not yet. Because I feel like he should make some sort of play to try to get a bit back into the game, because he's on half the income of Tagada at the moment.
He is sort of surrounding Tagada
Yeah, okay.
right now.
Okay, he is probably trying to go all in. The issue is that his SU is very much out of position, and there's 5 factories worth of build power there for Tagada, and he has a lot of armies as well. So I
Plus
actually don't.
OC, like tons of power for his troubles.
Yeah, I don't see Tagada losing this position at all. If anything, he will crush this army, considering it's now going to get sandwiched from 2 sides. So, I feel like this was kind of a last desperate attempt of Nexus to try and get something out of the game, because he probably realized that the game was going horrible for him. If you can see, he has no map control at all. His opponent has 3 tech 2 max as well. You have 0.
He's just gonna drop tanks on top of the ACU and hope for the best. Hummer's coming in. We might see another air fight, but it looks like Tagada has more.
The issue is, yeah, that's the construct K. I feel like it might have been a better attempt if he just didn't move in his army as quick and waited for his ACU to be closer, because as soon as you move the army in, your opponent knows your intent of trying to go all in for the kill. But if you just keep your army idle and just like first move your SU closer to range, then your opponent doesn't necessarily get the idea that you're all in. It's at least it's a harder read.
But now, game 2, Nexus gets to have his map of choice.
Yeah, this was Tagada's pick after all. So he wins his own map pick.
If you're